Welcome back, everyone, to the OSU MANIA 7 Key World Cup 2025. We're here with the semi-finals, ready to kick things off with a couple of matches here. We've got quite a few matches this weekend, but starting off with a nice one in the losers bracket, it's going to be Indonesia versus the Russian Federation. I'm Potassium F casting alongside me for today. How are you doing?
Hello. It's been quite a little bit of a busy week this time around. We got now we're actually at the top 12 area where we gotta thin out the hurt someone there. I mean, considering the pools are getting harder, the players have to hustle a lot for the pools, especially harder pools, harder game tactics, you know.
Yeah, definitely a big step up. Quite a few of these maps have increased in the BPM and the patterning quite a drastic amount. So we are going to be expecting these teams, as good as they are going to be getting a lot more misses and a lot more drama, I hope to see, with the score going back and forth with some of these. But I do expect with this one, Indonesia has been playing kind of fantastic recently, even up against the match that they lost last week against Japan. So I expect Russia's probably going to be wanting to go with the rice. That's been their main strength. So Indonesia probably going to be protecting either an LN or hybrid.
Yeah, seeing the rules, Indonesia won the role by a fair bit. They're actually 31% so I'm expecting Indonesia to protect long term right at the game, with no question, since their long term scores have been particularly great.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a name like, Onto Bekasi on your team, an old player that is known for long notes in particular, that does sound like a good plan. Hybrids, I think Indonesia is going to be pretty well suited for as well, because Russia's one of those teams that does switch out one of their players between the LN and the rice, so maybe they might be lacking the comfort for both at the same time. But LN4 is going to be the protect.
Yeah, good show. The Alien coordination, which Indonesia, I believe they also protected this one in the last round, or either that, or it's just a longer one, which is kind of the fair same ideal.
Yeah, both of those long notes, 1 and 4, are the ones that if you can play it, you can play it well. If you can't play it, you're dying.
Oh, Russia protecting unconventional act. I mean, this has been the protect from the last round too. Technical pick, which is 6 as strings in this case.
Yeah, maybe I think Russia probably looking to go with I would say the least physical pick, or one of the least physical picks in the pool. One where they can really try and, capitalize on their accuracy, and also hope that Indonesia misses a little bit, because Indonesia also been looking quite good on the rice themselves. And the LN1 ban coming out from Russia, they don't want to see that full inverse.
They do not like inverses, and even though Russia played long and won the last round, they did fairly well. But against Indonesia, I do think it's a very good ban.
I could see Indonesia banning Rice 3. I think that might be the place they decide to go to if Russia is feeling good on the jacks. They
Something
could
tells me
also...
something tells me that Rice 1 is gonna be the ban. I feel like. Oh, okay.
I win.
Sticking to the core tag. Alright.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with Rice 1 is, even though Russia has been extremely good on Rice 1, I think some of Russia's scores have been really impressive on the speed. Indonesia last week was number 2 on that pick as well, and this week it is a lot harder patterning wise as well, and I feel like Indonesia might be looking at their own late game scaling being a little bit better in that regard.
Yeah, interesting. No straightforward no straightforward accuracy in picks, other than maybe the core stream. We got to see little star and pixel planet being left out there, so Russia has the option to pick that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard to say straightforward accuracy anyway when we're getting to this stage. Maybe for some teams, Rise 3 might be that, but the increase in BPM does make it a lot more tricky. And I'm going to be surprised if we see many two-way FCs at all in the entire round.
Yeah, it's a rarity when we see double FCs on one team. Yeah, it's gonna be a rarity. I feel like there's gonna be more drops. So I guess it happens more the later stage in the game. Oh, the core.
Oh, okay, so we are starting with LN2. Interesting first pick. I would have thought LN4, I mean LN4, their Protect is definitely a good one. But the hybrids also should be very good for Indonesia. This one may be potential for Russia to feel quite comfortable with. They do have some strong LN players themselves, in Meiju in particular.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle on between the density of Long, which, taking into account Long Node 3 has it out in the open, and if this pick doesn't work for Indonesia, then it could spell some trouble for Indonesia to pick the other LLM that is not a Protect.
I mean, I do think Indonesia should still be fine overall. Maybe not relatively their best skill set compared to some of the other LN picks, but still, you know, you have Ontapakasi LN player Rafko, who has been the most consistent player in Indonesia, I have to say, so far in this tournament. It's up to the other side of Russia to prove if they can keep up with these two players on Indonesia. Meiju and Timo Buka are going to be the players I expect to be playing pretty much every LN and hybrid pick for Russia.
Yeah, we'll see the first pick coming out from Indonesia. Hopefully this works very well in their favor. Not too surprised to given the seed roster has been like it's just completely the same for the LN roster for both of these teams, so it's not surprising that here.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing these four names quite a lot, for sure. Looks like so far all players can handle the density. A little bit of accuracy drops from a few players. Ontapakasi, the only one holding 99.6 right now, but not too big of a difference in accuracy.
Oh, the semi-aggravating releases. Timo Buka finding the first drop on the releases there.
Quite a big act drop as well, down to the low 98s. That's going to give quite a decent lead over to Indonesia.
There's more of these patterns like this though, so I would imagine overholding it is actually quite a big detriment to the accuracy, because none of them Russia has a 99 at all.
Yeah, Meiju is keeping up with Rafko. Very similar scores there. But Timo Buka finding another miss, and Meiju also, both of the Russian players, going to give Indonesia a bit more of a lead.
Oh, the first miss comes from Ontapakasi from Indonesia's side.
But it is traded by Meiju, finding repeated misses there and dropping the accuracy down to the mid-98s. Russia with a bit of a 98.5 average, both of the players on Indonesia at 99.2 right now, so the accuracy well in favor of Indonesia.
A mirror between each other because the accuracy is exactly the same, except for that one miss earlier.
And there's the
combo.
Last full combo, but it is traded by Timo Buka. Both players finding the miss is perfectly fine for Indonesia right now, as they maintain their accuracies. Ontapakasi finds another miss as well. That one's not traded by Russia, and Meiju is increasing the accuracy, but that score lead is not being dented just yet.
Yeah, it's still the same area since the accuracy are just being traded off. Even like without misses, you have to contend on basically not dropping any more 200s, but Meiju seems to be struggling a lot more on these inverse patterns.
It can be really tricky. It's definitely not straightforward, despite it being kind of a chord streamy LN density. These release timings are definitely not so straightforward. You do have to think about them a little bit. And Ontapakasi does find a late drop, but just singular drops from the side of Indonesia, no accuracy drops. They're still on 99.3 for the both of them.
Yeah, very hell of an aggressive pick by Indonesia, picking out along the density right out of the first pick, but they do now take the first point on this pick now.
Yeah, despite some strong recovery there from Timo Buka and Meiju in the midsection there as well, managing to recover from some poor starts, but in the end, not enough to make back the difference that Indonesia had created at the start there. 0 misses for Rafko, just the slider breaks.
There's a clear difference in accuracy. The ratio is just completely much better than Russia, which you have to think that in such a complexity that Indonesia is able to handle that.
are going to be seeing Rice 2 coming out. This is the chord stream. A really dense one as well. This one has quite a few kind of like bracket patterning, if I remember correctly. And a fair step up in terms of the BPM as well.
But this is also almost 3.5 minutes for a stream that is dense.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when it comes to like dense bracket patterning, I can survive maybe like 5 seconds before completely dying in my hands.
Yeah, I can do less than that, less than 5 seconds, maybe 4. But that's just also disregarding that disregarding the intro. That is.
Yeah, it's some of the most tiring patterns that I've ever tried to play are the patterns that we see in a map like this. So being able to keep it up for almost 3.5 minutes, that is something else. We are going to be seeing one switch out for Russia. Meiju coming out for Kareis being the Rice specialist on the team of Russia here. And it looks like Indonesia's going to keep the same 2 players.
Yeah, Kareis has been playing a lot more on all the Rice picks like the last one. So that's surprised being the Rice main player from the Russian side.
And this is a skill set that Russia has been performing quite well on as well. Just their general Rice accuracy and consistency has been quite high. So I think overall a pretty good pick as long as they can keep up the combo.
You know, in case if most people in the chat doesn't know what bracket means, is that what bracket pattern means is like the pattern like forms some sort of net, like a checkerboard patterns, which in practice it should not be too bad because in 4K in terms it's like almost like a split jump drill, but in 7K it's a completely different thing to play.
Yeah, try and alternate every second finger on your hand on the table. It's very hard to do quickly, and you can see how fast it is right now at 182 BPM, actually onto finding the first miss across the board.
Intro should not be too bad. I mean, I guess this is by far and away the easier patterns before we get into the more straight up bracket patterns.
They're coming up very soon, actually. This tied between the 2 teams so far. We'll see if they can keep it up getting into the denser parts right here. It looks like accuracy going in favor of Indonesia as Kareis drops down to 99.1, but still holding the combo. Only 1,000 points in the lead of Indonesia.
Yeah, still not dropping, just Indonesia taking back on accuracy, and by accuracy, it's still like about 99.5 for both.
But Axe still very close together regardless. Tambuka actually has the highest accuracy in the lobby by a little bit, despite Kareis dropping. Oh, Rapco finding a break just before this break section. That is a unfortunate time to miss there.
That would be no full combos in Indonesia though, so might actually start to shift a little bit.
The accuracy advantage still in Indonesia's favor, but onto Bukasi finding
again.
a 3rd miss. This might flick over to Russia now as we're getting into the second half of the map. The density is about to kick back up.
Okay, the lead is still going to Indonesia's on sheer accuracy alone, despite having 5 misses against none from the Russia.
It's been so clean, those misses though. Like, they have been single misses in the break section mostly. And there we go, another one, another 2! Traded by Kareis though.
Only 1 left standing on the Russian side, and the lead is still so much lacking.
There's like no lead right now. 3,000 points. That lead might shrink a little bit as well as Kareis is about to hit that 400 combo mark. But yeah, this accuracy is all in favor of Indonesia.
Kareis just needs to step it up a little bit there in the accuracy, because he might not seem like much, but accuracy is going to play a big factor. Indonesia does not want to drop more accuracy than this. Patterns bracket a little bit there. Complexity.
This is
the back again.
Last part of the map right now. Russia really desperately needs some mistakes from Indonesia, and there's a mistake from Macro. That's a bit of an accuracy drop as well. That might close the gap. They might need one more though.
bracket pattern does seem to favor a little bit of the Russian side, but 2,000 points still hanging on by a thread here.
Just 2,000 points, but it looks like if Indonesia manage to hold on to their combos, they
200.
will take it by 2,000
Oh my God.
points. Despite,
boy.
I was avoiding saying his name the entire map long, but Timubuka, the FC, doing some massive lifting there, but just barely not enough.
7 misses in total from Indonesia and 2 from Korea's side. And with Timubuka's impressive FC, it wasn't enough though. Boy, that was hanging by a thread here. Even though Russia's taking a good idea to pick core streams, but it was just not enough.
Yeah, it looks so promising as well with the number of mistakes that Indonesia was getting. Only 1 miss for the entire Russian team in that whole map. Felt like it should have been enough, but not quite.
I feel like Indonesia are gonna have to like straight go into like their protect. I do feel like LN is pretty convincing.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Indonesia, the protect is looking pretty tempting right now. It is the map that I think they should have the biggest difference in comfort on compared to Russia. I mean, LN3 is also up, but I think with the first breakpoint in your pocket... Oh, okay, it is going to be LN3. They want to save that LN4 pick until the very last moment.
Same idea as the LN2, except just more. It's just more complex, not just straight up density.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of little bits of like coordination focus as well. Some other parts that are not just density. So if Russia does struggle on some of those sections, maybe this could work out even more in Indonesia's favor compared to that LN2 earlier.
Yeah, hopefully with Mage coming back in, maybe have a fresh start looking at the overall pool, which Mage just seems to have more struggle in the longer 2 pick before. Yeah. So hopefully this should work out.
But we will see. Lower density sometimes does mean that maybe you'll have a bit of an easier time finding that accuracy. So maybe Russia is going to manage to bring that accuracy closer. This one's also a fairly short one. So misses are going to mean a whole lot here. We'll see if they can hold on the combo throughout the map. As Timubuka, very early drops there. That's a rough little pattern to have in the first seconds of the map.
Really, really hard intro to take on, so it's understandable to have drops here just very early.
Looks like Ravko also does find a pretty early drop as well. That one's actually going to be more impactful than Timubuka's earlier one because it is past that 400 combo mark. And this point lead is going to be very, very close. Ravko finding another miss. This might flick towards Russia, actually.
A little bit. Accuracy might still kind of behind. Mage now finding the drop yet. I guess the first drop. No MCs. It's just monetize right now.
Yeah, the only FC on the team of Indonesia right now also have that accuracy advantage. Meiju finding another miss. Oh, another repeated miss as well. And both of the players on Russia now below 99% as Indonesia once again above 99.
Quite a solid lead for Indonesia right here. About 18,000 points compared to like the rest of the map has more complexity.
Oh, and the double. Russia finds on that one pattern there, and on to Bekasi, actually increasing the accuracy. It's now at 99.6 with the FC still.
At this point on, the patterns are just staying the same around like this. Indonesia seems to have this in the bag, or like pretty much.
I mean, what can you do if your team Russia? Ravko does find a miss, but it is traded out immediately, and this accuracy still well in favor of Indonesia. It's going to take a bit more than that to manage to come back, and this late into the map, it just doesn't look like it's possible at all. All 4 players missing on the same pattern. That's the FC gone from onto Bekasi.
A bit of a lobby wipe on the last for the last part takes in, and unfortunately no MCs this time, but 982k for Ontabakasi though. That is a very good score for this card.
Towering above anyone else in the lobby in terms of accuracy and combo. Ontabakasi showing exactly why Indonesia's going for these LN picks, and they're going to comfortably take their second LN pick.
Yeah, very solid win there. 3-0 for Indonesia. Russia has to respond with something that is they're gonna have to go and protect it to get an answer from this.
Yeah, Russia do have a guaranteed, at the very minimum, 2 picks left. I can imagine their Protect's going to be one of them. I could also see them going for Rise 6. The chord stream did look very good for them, and if they can keep up with the BPM in Rise 6, that might be the other avenue of attack they might decide to go for. The only thing is that Rise 6, the BPM, I think is something like 220, is it not?
I believe it's probably a little bit higher. Since... okay, Pixel Planet it is, so more chord stream, just faster.
Yeah, very different though, because of course this one being a lot less bracket focused, it is a lot faster as well. I think it's a whole like almost 40 BPM higher, which is crazy to say. Yeah, 222.
Yeah, I believe it was like last round. It was like just around 30 BPM, which it is faster. I mean, thankfully it's not. It's less dense. Yeah, you just have to keep the speed.
It's still pretty dense though, is the thing. Like this was a scary map to watch on the on that map pool showcase.
Yeah, because it is less dense. Not I would say that it's not dense.
Less, quote unquote. This is pretty dense, despite it's just the difference really in the patterning. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I think Russia was doing extremely well on Rise 2 before, and I'm wondering if they can do the same thing because it is a very different map despite being still in that chord stream category.
Seems like probably waiting for Grace to come back in for Russian side because it should be like the 2-man roster for Russia for every single Rise piece.
Yeah, I expect Karays to come back in. Was performing quite well on Rise 2 as well. And I believe we are also waiting for Rafko to come back in, so we are going to be seeing Rafko coming in again for Indonesia. With Ontabakasi it seems, so Indonesia just running their same 2 members for the whole match so far. Here we go. Looks like we are going to be getting some players back in. I'm not sure what the time is exactly at because Indonesia did use their time out for this one, just to resolve some PC issues. Or maybe is Ontabakasi subbing out for this one?
Okay, so Rafko and Asriel seems like so Asriel is the substitute that is supposed to be playing for this portion.
Has Asriel played a map so far in this tournament?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
Yes, he played the technical pick from like round. I mean, I believe it's a quarterfinals. Is it quarterfinals or like round?
No, I did not see Asriel in the quarterfinals. I don't think it would have been earlier. Yeah, I know. Yeah, played. Yeah, has been playing some of the Rise picks.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was about to say that. I was just about to say without saying the name of the person, but definitely played for like the last earlier rounds.
Okay, well we'll see how this one goes. Ontabakasi going to be taking a break then, getting Karays in as well for Russia. So a couple of switch outs, seeing how these players are now going to perform with these new roster switches. And this one also a very short one, so they can't be many mistakes being afforded. If Indonesia misses as many times here as they were on Rise 2, I don't think they're going to be getting away with the same thing just off of accuracy.
Yeah, hopefully this would be a breeze for Indonesia at the very least, since swapping out is definitely going to be advantageous for having a substitute to play Rise, not just the two-man roster.
Well, good start so far for all four players. No big accuracy drops, but here we're going to be getting into some of these faster patterns right now, flickering back and forth. The score is
so far looking fine. Just holding on quite well, except for Asriel, we have one drop on the Indonesian side.
It drops down to 99.2 as well, so accuracy is very slightly actually in favor of Indonesia because of Rafko holding the 99.75. But Asriel does drop down a little bit more in terms of accuracy, so Russia's still going to hold the lead a little bit. Another miss from Asriel coming in.
Oh, misread that one trail over there. That's like gonna go like 189. Kare's fading that out, surprisingly.
Oh, multiple misses for Kare's. This might be tied back up again, but still beating out Asriel's accuracy. And Rafko finding the miss as well. That was the big scorer for Indonesia. This is going to start going in favor of Russian Federation now.
Lead's amount does not increase after Rafko missing.
Yeah, Rafko's accuracy is just that high. Any misses that come from that side can be just counteracted with that accuracy. So Russia
kind of worried now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lead, but this lead is shrinking. Look at this, 3,000 points. It's going down really fast as Rafko and Asriel both increasing their accuracy. Kare's does drop down to 99.1% as well, tied with Asriel.
I think we're going to be seeing the same story with Chiremuka find probably the sole MC that's going to get Kare!
Wait a second!
300 points! Oh my god. Chiremuka stays with the sole MC, and that is a point for Russia.
Almost a disaster, but just managing to hold on by 300 points. Timabuka is so good at these chord stream maps. My god, 2 FCs back to back on these ones. Even though Rafko did actually end up with the MVP because of the accuracy. He still has the highest score despite like 8200s and just much the best ratio in lobby, straight up. Yeah, that's how much your accuracy and your ratio can do in these tournament situations. Score v2. But that is Russia on the board. They managed to win one of their picks right now. They're only one breakpoint behind, technically, so they could come back in this, but Indonesia too, of course, have their own protect still up. LN4 if they want to go for it now.
Seems like the obvious thing in the world is gonna go with protect. It's just the last bomber pick remaining, and they already won 2 so far. And there it goes. Protect this time.
Picking out all of the LN maps. I wouldn't mind them going for a hybrid as well. I think the hybrid pool does look fairly good overall for Indonesia as well, but of course their protect. This one being the full-on coordination style pick has quite a lot of hard patterns.
It is quite a lot for a coordination pick that in practice it's kind of simple to look, but it's not.
Yeah, this is one of those maps that I think we're going to be discovering very early on who is not comfortable when it comes to this level of coordination. It is going to be very, very hard to hold on to any sort of combo if you aren't super good at this specific skill set.
Yeah, Steam Mage coming back in once again for all the long node picks.
Yeah, of course, we are expecting Meiju to come in here. And we are seeing onto Bikasi as well, the two LN players for both of these teams. Of course, coming in for the most LN map that we're going to be seeing.
Seeing an interesting thing with Mage saying this is a Jack chart. I mean, it kind of is actually not necessarily Jacks, but it's just anchored into the point that it is gonna be uncomfortable to play.
Yeah, a lot of those kind of anchor patterns do end up being some of the focus when we get to like the harder style coordination charts. So they do, in some ways, play like jacks as well. And I mean, we do see some straight up jacks in the intro as well, but those ones shouldn't be fast enough to really trip anyone up. We'll see now. This one is rough to hold on to. Meiju finding in the first drop.
Mixed in with burst as well, so it really showed that it's not comfortable with this for Mage.
Yeah, those bursts are insane. When you're just focusing like as much as you can on holding combo, Team Ibuka finds another miss for Russia. That's both the FCs gone compared to the 2 FCs on Indonesia.
It's always mesmerizing to see people just to be able to play a more LR coordination focus that is not just straight up density. Although this is still fairly dense for coordination, but I guess that goes to show that how later game is going to be like.
Yeah, Meiju finding some repeated misses here, not very comfortable holding this combo, struggling to hit that 400 mark. And this lead is just going bigger and bigger over time, 50,000 points already. And there is no sign of Indonesia letting up whatsoever. Onto Pikasi's on 99.6.
Oh, Rafko. Oh, that's a complete wipe from Russia there. Rafko, even though it's a trade, but that's still like unimaginably a high score difference. Probably the highest score difference we see already.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is completely done. Rafko finding another trade here. Both players on Russia struggling as we get to this really difficult ending section. But onto Pikasi's increasing the accuracy while everyone else has been missing.
This is pretty much a done deal, and
this is a crazy score.
Long note scores.
What
are
is
insane.
this?
That is an
Was
FC.
That 987? That's the highest. That's the highest score we've seen this entire match on. For a lot of people, would it be the hardest map?
11 200s with. Sure. Okay.
That is an insane score.
Oh, Rice 4. Okay, this is now Russia's Protect to play now.
Yeah, I mean, this is when they have to pick the Protect here. Indonesia up 4-1. This is potentially Russia's last pick. So, of course, now is the time, if any, to be picking your own Protect, the one that they felt the most comfortable on. Or, in some regards, at least.
While being the least dense, this is such a headache to play because you have to contend with such unconventional snappings and just complexity.
Yeah, tech map for a reason. And it looks like Indonesia is going to be swapping in yeah. So they are going to have all 4 of their players showing up in this match. And Kare's switching in for Russia as well. This one is going to be an interesting one because very different to the other Rice maps that we've seen so far. Very, very unconventional snapping. And it will be awkward to maintain any kind of semblance of accuracy or combo.
Yeah, this is all for the tech heaven players out there. If you really like just straight up weird snaps and just weird patterns in general, yeah, this pick is for you.
Yeah, of course, whenever you see Flashbulb in any tournament situation, you always assume it's going to be a tech map.
It is. It just so happens that the 4 key and for the Flashbulb has been pretty popular for tournament picks.
Well, an early miss there from Team Ibuka. Not going to matter a whole lot. Of course, 3 minutes long this map, so plenty of time to recover from that. Mini Jacks coming out at the same time as well. We are going to be seeing some lower accuracies as this map progresses, but for now it is Indonesia in a little bit of a lead. Team Ibuka now above 99% once more, so recovered pretty well from that earlier miss up.
Yeah, we're building up fairly well after that Team Ibuka there, but well, I guess Team Ibuka finally finding another miss too, which completely resets the combo there.
Yeah, that one's going to matter a bit more, and Karay's now finding a miss. That's both FCs gone for Russia. Still two FCs on the side of Indonesia with very strong accuracy on both of them as well.
Still holding two full combos from Indonesia, which at this point in time, this is going to be really, really good for them for building up this lead so far. Even though this is still not the first half, second half just yet.
Yeah, it's a longer pick for sure, but oh, multiple misses there from Team Ibuka, dropping down below 99% once more. So this lead is going to start growing quite quickly unless Indonesia finds a miss. They do, but it is traded.
Traded on the... I mean, it's fair enough because the miss comes up from the rapid, just a rapid trail. It just so happens that it catches many, I guess many people.
And another miss coming out from Team Ibuka there. This lead is going to just grow over time. So now we're finally hitting this second half of the map. Just the one FC in the lobby right now, and onto Bakasi once again.
Just about 35,000 point lead just before we get to the last third of it. It's really looking very hard to come back, even though the pattern still does persist for the complexity.
And this lead's not going anywhere. All four players now holding a strong combo. There's the full combo gone. Onto Bakasi does miss. That's a big dent in the point lead now, but not quite enough. Russia's going to need a little bit more if they want to come back.
I mean, at this point, I guess, yeah. Oh, actually, the trade axe is on the rapid sweep there, but now the point lead is going to be reduced a little bit, but needs more. And there's that. Russia has a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, Russia's getting the misses they want out of Indonesia, but it doesn't seem to be changing the score fast enough because we're already just about at the end of the map. And still 27,000 points in the lead. The outro going to be hit. And Indonesia is going to pick up another break point on this one. Off the back, mostly of just, I guess, the combo and the accuracy, both in favor of Indonesia.
26,000 point for Indonesia, taking the lead. Just goes to show that this pick in particular has been particularly unkind to people who are not adept at most technical patterns in this.
Yeah, Indonesia now putting themselves on match point. Russia, they're going to need 4 points in a row if they want to get to the tiebreaker to stay in the tournament. Of course, loser of this is going to be eliminated in top 12, while the winner is going to be moving on to play one more match later this week.
Yeah, this is a tough hill to climb for Russia. It's specific. They need 4 straight points to be able to force a tiebreaker. But Indonesia's turn to pick, and there's only like, okay, they're acquiesced to the pick from Russia, so they're gonna have to pick the mini tiebreaker.
Yeah, this one very, very tricky and making a lot of sense for Indonesia because I think, mentioning before, they do have some extremely strong physical players. These players can scale very well into the late game. Of course, seeing onto Bakasi and Rafko, those are the players that I'm thinking of, especially that might excel in a map like this.
It's gonna be a long one this time. No surprises, just all around. In particular, just the most difficult hybrid.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. We are going to be seeing Karez and Team Ibuka for Russia. They're going to be sticking with their rice roster for this one. So maybe Indonesia going to get that advantage when it comes to some of these LN sections that we're going to be seeing.
All right, we'll see how this goes for the first hybrid pick that we've seen so far.
Being such a long map as well, it is very important that these players manage to keep their accuracies up as high as they can. Because if Indonesia pulls too far ahead, that might just be impossible to recover from just the combos. We are going to have kind of the first quarter of this map even being relatively easier. So probably
It's
not
kind of irrelevant.
yeah, not going to be too much drama happening here. I don't expect players to drop down that much at the start. I mean, both of the Indonesian players on 99.8.
Oh, there's a first miss from the Korea's side there.
He's still holding high accuracy. Timo Buka does find a miss as well, so that's going to give Indonesia a bit more of a lead. But now we're actually going to go into some of the harder sections in just a moment.
Yeah, a little bit more trickier snappings here. It doesn't look like she's having a good time with the snapping right here.
Yeah, looking like Russia, the ones who are struggling a bit more now, dropping both players below 99% briefly. There's Indonesia, still 99.7% average between those two.
Already like 25,000 point lead. Yeah, there's the first drop from onto Makasi, but that lead is not going because the double drop from Russia.
Yeah, Russia's just struggling to hold on to their combos. I mean, rightfully so. You look at these patterns and you just wonder, what the heck? And there's the last full combo gone. Rafko managing to find that drop there, but overall accuracies, they're spreading wider and wider apart over time as Indonesia still on that 99.4 for both players.
These patterns are just so rude to be able to play through all of these. And even with all the drops coming up, Indonesia came out unscathed at like 99.48, just completely the same accuracy all around.
I mean, they're on pace still for the 980k scores on the side of Indonesia right now. Russia holding high 98 still for both players, but struggling to find that same consistency when it comes to the combo. Karace does find another miss right there. They're going to need to hold up the combos for a bit longer. We have a third of the map left, just about.
Just more of these tricky longer patterns, and it really does show that Indonesia's strengths on longness are just not to be trifled with.
Yeah, they are looking comfortable right now. More misses coming out of Karace there. Rapco does find a miss, but traded with Time Buka. And overall, this lead, it's just growing over time. It's not looking like it's going to be shrinking whatsoever. Now 80,000 points in favor of Indonesia.
Yeah, looking to put out of their misery there for Russia, as Russia's struggling so much of all these patterns. Rightfully so, because the patterns are just so rude in general.
I mean, it doesn't get easier.
Yeah, it does not get any easier, and you know what, it's just consistency on Indonesia's side has been superbly well. Like, even onto Bakasi is still like holding a high combo overall. It just really goes to show.
Onto Bakasi really just showing why he is one of the best players in the world when it comes to a lot of these, like especially mid-game maps in MWC. Consistently showing such strong performances. Rafko as well has been exceptional so far, and we are going to be seeing Indonesia winning the match 6-1, despite some really close maps from Russia. It is going to be Russia being eliminated here in top 12. Indonesia managing to go through to tomorrow, so not quite through to the finals just yet. Indonesia are going to have to win one more match against Malaysia.
Yeah, they secured top 8 in this regard, so they still have one more battle in the semifinals to be able to get through into the finals, where they have to play like a lot more efficiently with their picks now.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be an interesting match as well. Of course, in case anyone not aware, Chile, I do believe, did forfeit the tournament as they weren't able to get enough players available this weekend, unfortunately. So Malaysia is going to be the opponent that Indonesia are going to be facing for that spot in the finals. And those two teams, very, very strong. Both of them looking quite good so far in this tournament. So that's going to be one that I'm going to be really interested in keeping a close eye on in the future.